My name is Simon Goldschmidt. I'm CEO of Atosho, which is, we have a platform, a leading platform for distributed e-commerce, which basically means that we make all media content shoppable. So imagine that you go on a website or any media article, you read about the latest look or a fashion look. You want to buy it here and then, you can buy it inside the article without ever leaving the website. So we bring the shopping experience to the user as opposed to try to drive traffic to where all the different e-commerce retailers have set up their sites. I will go through some of the impacts of retailers, publishers, and consumers' experience of this solution. I'll show you some demos and give you a little insight to where our business is today and where we are heading. So if you look at publishers today, they are trying to get a piece of transactional revenue, but today they will always have to redirect the user either via affiliate links or other links, and they will stop monetizing their user. Now they can get a full shopping e-commerce system, as well as using and keeping the consumer on their site, monetizing the consumer, and deliver a reader experience, user experience that they can also shop. For retailers, they actually get reach into, I usually call it high street corners of the internet, which they can't buy. You can't buy your space inside of an article, you can't buy your space in an image. I'll show you later that you can in some instances, but you cannot really do it in a shoppable and sell your products from that place. And as a consumer, you basically can pick up products where you get inspired. So publishers create the demand, they create inspiration. Now you can buy it instantly while you're getting inspired. So those are the key features and impacts from the industry. I'll give you a few examples of how the function works. I'm in a mom and baby side. I'm a mother. I want to go to the beach with my kids. I want to get in here, and there's a little icon in here in the image. I mouse over it. I click it, and there's a number of products that are relevant for me. Now when I read this article, I can see there's maybe some other products that I want to get when I go to the beach with my kids or prepare for going to the beach with my kids. I could add it to my basket, and now I could actually go and exit if I wanted to and just say, okay, I want to go to delivery, I want to buy this product. Instead of doing that, I want to read a little more. So I browse on and, hold on. I can't navigate this. It's two different screens. Okay. So I go to another article. And instead of buying things for my kids, I go to another article. And I want to buy some clothes for myself. I open here and there's a variety of clothes where I can get the latest look. I will also add that to my basket. And you can now see that I have two pieces of products in the basket and sold by two different retailers. So now I have from Suit Store and I have from Style Pit, two different retailers that is following me in a basket that is also at my convenience whenever I want to buy this. So let's say I want to go, I close this down. Now I want to go buy something for my husband. I browse down, I can, instead of going into, let's see how that works. Instead of going into the image, there's a little shop coming out of the text link. I enter the store, I add that product to the basket. And now I have three different products from three different retailers. I'll go to delivery, and I can check out there and then. from all three retailers. I shut it down, and what you've probably seen is up here in the right-hand corner, I have a little shop where I can save for later, I can have a wish list, and I can actually, instead of checking out instantly, which you might not do, which you might do, might not do, whatever convenience you have, I can come back to this website at another point of time and say, okay, what's in my basket? What is it that has my interest? And I can start following you as a user. What you saw in the content of the articles was we were matching products that was matching content. Now, in this little widget, which is more or less a global basket that follows you, we will match the consumer's behavior and wish list and say, okay, now we match at your convenience when you want to buy and exit a product. So I can at any time just go in here, I can see what I've seen last seen items, I can get inspirations on a weekly level, and I can just go back into my cart, I can go to delivery, and I will exit at that point of time. So trying to go back to the presentation. Excuse me. Support. Can you get me back to my presentation, please? So basically, the story here is, on a publisher's site, we can actually make every piece of content shoppable. They have no cost. This is a solution they get for free as a SaaS solution, and they have access to all our retailers, all our products instantly. They have no cost of transaction, no cost of infrastructure, but they can actually just, they're incentivized basically to give their users an extended experience that they can now shop and buy there. And basically it's also supporting the existing revenue stream, as we don't take the user away, they will still make money off of their banners and other online models that they're already working with. So how do we do this? Excuse me. No, but it's not the same thing. Okay, good. So how do we do this? It's a fairly simple integration. We have retailers on one side of this value chain. They feed in their products to our system. We redistribute it into the different channels where we make them available. We receive the order in our gateway, so we actually pick up the transaction, all the user data, all the information. We feed it back into the retailer's order management system, so they fulfill it as if the order was made on their own website. So no additional administration on their side, just incremental sales and revenue from a new stream. The business model is fairly much following the industries. So we're taking a commission of the sales we generate, and the commission varies from industry to industry where the margins allow it. So we would not apply high revenues or high commissions to, let's say, consumer electronics market, which has smaller margins. So we match that. We pick up the transaction. We split it 50-50 with the publishers, and we feed back the money to the retailers for all the sales we have generated for them. So that's basic of the model. How do we fit in, and what's the landscape of online advertising / e-commerce, which is where do we fit into this landscape? And we look at it as there's two different kinds of services. You have traffic generating services and you have transactional services. Whereas most of the existing traffic generating services we have up in this left corner, where you have kiosks or other companies that do editorial storefronts inside images, inside text links and what have you, but they still redirect the user away, so they become a traffic generating service. On the other side of that spectrum, you have all the marketplaces that generate, you can also argue, for distributed e-commerce, because you sell off of your own website, but now on a destination site. So the other part of the matrix is Do you have a distributed service, or do you have a destination service where we buy on that website? We fit in between both of those services, so that the front end of that value chain is actually editorial storefronts that create inspiration. And on the other side of that value chain is the transactions. So we pick up the transaction and generate revenue for our retailers. Today, a little bit of status of where we are today. We have a little more than 1 million products across 200 retailers. Most of them are in the Nordics. We're a Nordic-based company. We have headquarters and development in the Nordics. We are just launched in UK and in France, getting a large integration with some of the key e-commerce aggregators in those markets to populate our catalog and start pushing it into some of the larger media partners over here. Some of the statistics that when we make a match between content and the products, we actually see a very high engagement from the consumers, where more than 25% of the consumers reading about this engage into the shop. And we have around just more than 1% of those that actually do a transaction. So we are getting very good adoption from the market of where we make the matches, and that's basically what it is. We're looking to scale this. This is clearly a scalable model. The applications from retailers and publishers in this is very simply integrated. So we're at a stage where we have many very valuable publishers and retailers that we look to scale with. So we have selected partners we are scaling with at this point of time. Once we have those partners scaled, we will scale our business models. And when I mentioned that we want to scale our business model, is we can actually make a transaction anywhere with this technology. I could make a transaction off of your shirt. I would scan it. I could buy from there. That's not where we're breaking the market. We're breaking. Thank you. Is that better? We're breaking the market in editorial space, but we are scaling the market once we get the traction with the existing partners we have today. So that's a bit of the status of the business, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Go ahead. Yeah. So the question is how the content provider actually gets started with this. It's a simple JavaScript implementation into the header of the CMS system, and then all the content on that website becomes shoppable. We've made a browser extension where you can search across all 200 retailers and select your product. So it's a click solution right now of how to match the products. We've discussed in length how we will automate that so we could scrape and make the matches into our technology. But at this stage, there's a lot of editors having an opinion about what products are shown in your articles and all of that. So we've had to have initially somewhat of a manual match or manual selection. So it's a click solution right now into it takes less than a minute to make a shop.
How does it work user-wise? As a user, do I have to install anything? No, you don't, right?
So as a user, how does it work as a user? You just browse and buy, as you would always do. So the question is, why are consumers buying out of this space and in different medias? The key answer to that is convenience. If you saw in the examples, you have 3 different products or 3 different retailers you can buy from in one go. So if you would normally have to buy from Topshop, from ASOS, from other ones, to find your jeans, your shoes, and your hat, it would not be very convenient to go and find the right price, all that. It's right here when you get inspired, and you will buy at that instant moment, and not necessarily instantly where we have that supportive widget to support the user of where they are.
When you when you're browsing the products, then you add something to the basket, you see that additional item. So are those from the same retailer or from different retailers?
So the other items that you can see when you browse, are they from the same retailer, from different retailers? It's across our whole catalog of retailers. So it's really similar items or related items or items that you have seen before across the whole catalog. So we're not necessarily following a specific retailer. It's not an advertising network in that sense. So we've just rolled out in the UK. What are the publisher relationships we have in the UK? We have 3 mid-sized gaming and IT publishers under Net Communities right now that we've launched with, which is basically our launch partner right now. We're in dialogue with all the major brands. They like this. It's a conceptually easy one to adopt to. So that's where we are right now, expecting to close it within the next couple of months. Other questions? Okay. Thank you very much.